Hi. Hi, it is I, me, someone you do not know. Just kidding, I'm the world's favorite anomaly because I shouldn't exist, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, today we're here with part two of my dream series. So this is part two of the four parts of my Logan Paul has invaded my dreams. Anyway, so just a quick TLDR if you didn't watch the first one. Um, I had. I met Logan Paul at a Fort Lauderdale airport, and he followed me to my Airbnb that was somewhere in Miami Beach. And he is now sitting in my living room, and my friends are holding me back, my two friends, and we're trying to decide why the hell he decided to follow me to my apartment, house, wherever the hell I was staying. I wanted to premise this by saying I do not, one, know Logan Paul. Two, I have never met him. I don't follow him on any social media, and I have never watched a complete episode of anything that he's ever done. Okay, I'm 30. I never he was. I'm not his the ideal group of people to watch or whatever. I've only seen little clips here and there that were on whatever the hell is going on. That kind of stuff. So I also want to remind everybody that I have lucid dreams, and I tend to not have a sense of smell or a sense. I don't have all of my senses in these dreams, but I do switch to these ultra hyper realistic. What the hell is going on with my hair? And yes, I will probably change my hair quite often because it's a wig. I don't care. And I like this one. This is for the character Emerald. I decided to wear an emerald wig, which coincidentally, the actual person that he's based off of, he picked it out. So it just works, all right? Other than that, so these dreams get so hyper realistic that sometimes when they first started happening, I couldn't tell whether they were not really a dream. But I kind of have like this, I call it my inner monologue, and it's like Lizzie McGuire when her little cartoon character comes out and is like, so this happened and this happened. You're like, no, Lizzie, ah! And I'm just over here like that, and occasionally there's some popcorn. So, um, yeah. Again, this is all a dream. It does not exist. It never happened. It's a figment of my imagination that happened when I was sleeping. So, just to clue you in, this second dream happened on May 15th, 2021. Today is June 10th that I'm filming this. Not that that even matters, but who the F cares? Okay, so now, back to setting the scene. The couches go like this, and then the TV is here. All right? So I'm on this side of the couch. It is me, it's Emerald over here, and Penguin over here. So it's the three of us over here. Logan's over there, and whoever people he had that followed him, or driver, or blah, 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 they're all just hanging out randomly in the house, probably looking around. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to them. There was movement going on in the background, but I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, so he's sitting down, and the last thing I told him was to talk. So for whatever reason, my dream version decided to give him a chance to explain himself. So it starts off, Logan. So I just had the sudden urge to follow you. I don't know why I did it. I just did it, and here I am, and hey, how's it going? So then I say, why me? Because again, I am nowhere near anyone that he would ever even really be seen with unless I was like family, which I'm not. So whatever. So the inner monologue is like, yeah, seriously? Like, why me? What the heck? I get that this dream is a dream. I get it's a dream, but I must have like really bad issues if I'm thinking this person really randomly just followed me for no reason. Like, why would my sleeping self think that this is one, a possibility, or even that I wanted it to happen. You know what I mean? So that's like the inner person at the back of my head that's kind of just locked out, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's stupid. Um, and then the inner me, which is the subconscious of the dream version of myself. This is where it gets really weird because it's now starting to respond to me. So before now, because I've had multiple versions of like dreams like this where they involved random people, uh, places, things, random things, which you'll get tidbits here and there of other stuff. But it's just like I've never responded to myself. So I'm watching everything happen first person, but like third person, if that makes sense. Which is really weird. And now the two, like me that's aware of this is a dream, this is what's going on, is now having conversations with the me that's like in the dream. Like the dream person, the dream version of me that I have no control of, that inner voice in its head is now responding to the me hyper self-aware of what the actual is going on. The inner me says, yeah, for real, I don't even know what's going on. Logan says, like I said, I just hopped in and followed, and here I am. So now I'm like, okay, so what brings you to Florida? Don't you like live in Puerto Rico or something? Or wherever? Like, I know he doesn't live in Miami. He doesn't live in Florida. What the are you doing here? And he's like, yeah, but I'm here for a concert. So I was just stopping by and then I was going to head home after. And I'm over here like, oh, okay, so is like the concert tonight or something? And he's like, yeah, it is. Do you want to go? I have extra tickets. And then I'm just like, no, not really. I have to pick up my friend from the airport in a couple hours, and we're setting up this place and then heading out to go get her. Then we have dinner at Emerald's house. And so then Logan's like, oh, how many of you are there? Emerald and his punk ass says there's 9 of us in total if you count my brother and my brothers and my sister-in-law. So then Penguin is now like, okay, who's playing? And Logan says Motley Crue and Def Leppard. So now cut back to my inner monologue and is like, nah, fam. I know this is just in June of like 2022 because they had a concert plan and then it was pushed back, but I don't remember when. But for whatever reason, I thought June of 2022. I did recently look it up. They do have a concert with it's Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and Poison have a concert June 18th, 2022 at the Hard Rock Stadium. So now I'm freaking out like IRL because that what? I'm sure I saw an ad or something and I subconsciously kept it in the back of my head because I love Motley Crue. Okay, so again, I'm 30. I'm old enough to like Motley Crue. Okay? Don't come at me. I grew up on that. Just saying. So now my inner monologue is like, wait. So I can tell this is something that I can control because that's a concert that I would totally go to. But he's like barely 25 or something. I don't know when his birthday is. I don't know how old he is at all. I assume he's the same age as everybody else that I hang out with, which is like 25, 26. Like the youngest one is 22. So my group of friends are between 22 and 32. So we're a big range. But I think he's the same age as Emerald, who's turning 26 this year. So I don't know, because the only thing I've ever looked up is photos of funny faces to use for thumbnails. So just saying. Although the thumbnail didn't go through, but it's in the intro. Okay? All right. So, uh, the inner monologue me doesn't really think that he knows who Motley Crue is. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't care. I don't know him. I know like next to nothing about him except that now he's lasted 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather, and I gotta give him props for that, man. Like most people thought he'd get knocked out real quick, but hey, he survived. He made it. So props to him. Anyway, so then now the actual dream version of me is like, no way, I thought that was in June. And now I've come to realize my inner monologue self is now starting to seep into that reality of whatever is going on. So I'm telling myself, like, do you hear me? I mean, she's saying exactly what I'm thinking. And so then the inner me then responds, yeah, I can, but who cares? And then Logan just randomly is like, all right, give me a sec. And he looks at one of the people in the kitchen. They like nod or whatever. And he's then like, okay, so I got the tickets. And I'm over here like, wait, like we didn't even say we're going. We didn't, we have like not everybody here. We haven't asked anybody if they're available. Like, what the heck? You know, I'm confused. Um, I don't know what's going on. So I look at my phone to check the time because I know we're supposed to go pick up Danny from the airport at 5. So in this dream, it says 5. I know in the last dream, I think in the first dream, it was like 9 p.m. or something. I don't know, but I think that's when we were going to meet for dinner. So I don't know. At this point, it's kind of blurred and kind of not, but you know, it's been a while. So it was 3 p.m. And I'm like, guys, can we go shopping like now or later? Because we still had to do some grocery shopping to get us through the week. Because we were staying for a week. We had a wedding in 2 days. We had some kind of shower thing to do the day before, or something we were going to do for the wedding. It didn't happen. I can tell you that. Whatever we were supposed to do to help out with the wedding, that didn't happen. And you'll see why later. So Emerald is now talking directly to Logan. He's like, "Did you really just buy 9 tickets for this concert?" And Logan's like, "Yeah." And so I just say, "So do you always just like flash your money like that, or is it just because you want us to like you or something?" My inner monologue at that point is like, yeah, that's right, tell him, because that's what I would do in real life. Like, what is this dream? What the is going on? It's getting weirder, and I'm like interacting with myself, and then now the inner me is like responding to this like freak out that I'm having mentally because I'm aware of everything going on. So my inner me is like, yeah, I've always been able to hear you. I just could never figure out like if it was like a bipolar thing or not. And my inner monologue is like, oh yeah, cool, all right, just all right, we're there. This is happening now. Okay, we've evolved. All right, yeah, that happened. So then I'm like, okay, fine. What time is the concert? We have stuff to do, so we might not make it because he just told us it was today, and then he's like, oh, it's tomorrow. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, it's tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then Emerald's like, all right, well, he got you there, so we're going. Which is not really his personality. He doesn't, that's not something he would do. So either something was going on with him that I didn't understand, or this is just the version I wish he was, more than likely. But then again, when I have these dreams, I feel like I'm in an alternate reality and I'm just backseat watching what's going on in another version of myself's real ass life. So, because that's how hyper realistic it is. I mean, feel, touch, everything. Water. So, Penguin is then like, wow, I can't believe you would accept to do something like this. It isn't you. He's like, what? I'm always like this, which is something that if you watch me on Twitch, Emerald has been on there quite a few times, and he's always so over dramatic. So yeah, he was still a little over dramatic. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, yeah, and the Penguin then is like, yeah, sure you are, because Penguin is very much like me. He's very sarcastic and stuff like that. And then so Logan's now like, okay, so like tomorrow, and I'm like, ugh, really, guys? Like, have you asked anyone else? And Emerald says, oh yeah, well, they're all gonna say yes anyway. And I was like, if they don't, Logan then looks at me and he's like, I got that covered. And then he smirks. And I'm just over here like, what? Okay, well, what if I don't want to go? Because I didn't. I mean, I did. Like, in reality, I would have totally gone just because it's Motley Crue, but because I don't know him. I don't know him. It's basically taking a gift from a stranger, not knowing what the outcome is going to be, and it's free. Nothing's ever really for free. I don't know what he's going to try to do to me. I don't know what he's going to, So, like, my logical self is like, red flag, beep, beep, help, don't do it. And Emerald's just like, nah, you're going. And so my inner monologue is like, what? Like, I don't have an option? Like, come on. Inner me is like, if this is a dream, this is your fault, and that's how it goes. And inner monologue is like, yeah, okay. I mean, you kind of got me there, so I guess, like, all right. So then I say, fine, we will see you tomorrow. He says, see you then. But he still had like this really weird smirk on his face, and I didn't understand why he was smirking. So I had, I just really didn't care at that point, and I wanted him out. So I was trying to like, okay, like let's go. So I push, like I stand up and I kind of like try to usher him out the door, and I still have my phone in my hand because I had just checked the time, and it was open because for whatever reason I have a habit of turning on my phone. I'll even show you. I have a habit of going like this, putting in my password just to look at the time because I'm stupid and that's just what I do, okay? So my phone was still open when he's like, look at that. When I'm trying to walk out. So I'm just walking out and he takes my phone. And I'm like, okay, well my phone is an asshole. Because I won't press anything. It'll be open and it'll just turn off on its own. And it'll have the clicky sound like I pressed, because I have the little thingy in the back, the fingerprint, whatever. So I have the fingerprint thing. So occasionally this phone acts up and it becomes like oversensitive. I won't even be touching it. Like a piece of hair can touch it and it'll turn itself off. And it'll make that click sound. It'll make a click sound. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. So I'm over here like, oh yeah, he took my phone. Whatever. Like, he won't be able to do anything. It's going to turn itself off because that's what it always fucking does. But then, of course, it doesn't. So he's like, all right, let's see. So inner monologue's like, oh shit, he's going to call himself on my phone. So he calls himself on my phone. And he's like, okay. So now I got your number. Calls me by my real name. But in the meantime, I've like inner monologue forgot that he knew me by my real name. So I'm like, oh, which one? Because I go like by a billion names. I go like all of my friends call me by at least 6 different names. All right, so then I'm like, ugh. So he goes by my name and he's like, okay, all right, so it's nice to meet you. I'll stop by and get you guys tomorrow. And at this moment, I'm trying to rationalize why things are going like this in this dream. I mean, like, to be honest, he is a human. He's definitely changed from like the old ways. Like he used to be wild and crazy and almost like Jake, but not as, he's a little bit more calm. I feel like I'm one of those people that it's like it's something you did in your past, right? You did something really shitty. You knew it was something shitty. You really paid for it because honestly, he's gonna never live that shit down for the rest of his life. So I can't hold that, to him because I didn't know him as that person. So I don't want to, and it's the same thing with like when I meet new friends, I don't judge them by the shit that they did in the past because I've done shitty things in the past too. Who hasn't? It was a different time, you know? I mean, some things are on a different level and it's like, okay, like that's bad. And then some things are not. But I'm just like thinking here, like, fuck. All right. So, and I'm also trying to rationalize that I'm just stereotyping his personality because I don't know him. So I'm stereotyping that he's going to be aggressive and I'm stereotyping that he's going to be sneaky. But knowing from like, people's, this person broke up, this person did this, blah, 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 from all that stuff, there's no way in real life he would ever be attracted to me or any of this kind of shit would ever happen. It wouldn't. That's not reality. I'm not, and I know it's really weird to say, like, I'm at such a low standard that it, I'm old. I'm just old. I dress to be comfortable. I don't try to impress anybody. If I'm going to like an event or something, yeah, I'll dress up, but I don't got time for that. I got a full-time ass job. I do my own thing. Like, okay, so he's now gone. I move on to the couch next to me that he was sitting on, and now I'm looking at Emerald. I'm like, dude, what the f- was that? Why would you let him in? He's like, what do you mean? Penguin said, I didn't do anything. I'm innocent this time. And I'm like, never mind. It doesn't matter. We're not going to the concert. Penguin and Emerald both are like, what? Why not? And I'm like, have you guys asked anyone? Like, who's going to babysit the kid? Like, Danny hates him. Like, how are we going to get there? Like, we were supposed to help with wedding stuff tomorrow. And then Emerald's like, okay, one moment. He then calls his brothers, and because the brother and both the brothers are at the mom's house with the baby and with the fiance. So they're all over there. And they apparently agreed. And I had one last hope, which was Danny. So we ended up going grocery shopping. And just as we finished putting everything away, she let us know that she landed. So next, we basically teleport to the thing, airport. We pick her up. Silence. Awkward silence for a very long time. So Danny's like, what's going on? You guys are never this quiet. Penguin said, Logan Paul likes Raven and invited us to a concert tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not going. Danny was like, wait, what? Logan Paul? Why? How? Wait, who's playing? Who's invited? Logan Paul? Emerald's like, all of us. Danny's like, what do you mean? I'm not going. Everyone in this car, plus Ryan, Russell, Erica, Jules, and Sarah, is what Emerald says. Danny's like, he wanted her to go. He wanted her to go, and she like points at me, and then Emerald's like, yeah, and I said there was 9 of us because there's no way we're gonna let her go alone, obviously, because and I'm like, I don't want to go, I'm not going. Danny's then like, did he buy the tickets? Did you call everyone? And Emerald's like, I'll call Jules and Sarah when we get to the house. The others are down. I was like, I'm still not going. Penguin is like, I'm pretty sure he will take you himself, not by force, but he will. And I'm like, Penguin! And Danny's like, okay, let's think about this. We get back to the place. She picks out her room. Everybody heads back into the living room. Everybody's settled down. I went to the kitchen to get a drink because, why not? And then I realized, we forgot to get the alcohol. And Emerald's like, yeah, we only got food. Danny was like, call mom and see if she can make us the blue freezy thing, because she makes this really good blue freezy thing. And so then I was like, or he says, why? And I was like, Danny, you call her then. We have to head there anyway for dinner so Emerald can pack his stuff as well. And he's like, no, I'll call my mom because that's what he does. Inner monologue is like, okay, well, yeah, he definitely isn't different. And then so we sit down and we decide we're gonna call everybody else. So all of a sudden, he's like, all right, it's time. Then my text message ringtone goes off. And I'm like, my inner me is like, okay, who's texting me? I look at the phone, nothing. Emerald calls Sarah and Julian, but he's like, okay, are we going to do a video call or a voice call? Because we always use WhatsApp for it, and we always forget which one we're going to use. So then I'm like, okay, all right. And then my text message ringtone goes off again. So I'm like, oh God, who the heck is this? Like, I don't know this number. So then the rest of us are like, okay, we're going to do video call. Video call. So we get on the video call. Jules and Sarah are both like, hi. Sarah specifically is like, hi, Emerald, because she does that. And we're like, yeah, we're all here. And boy, do I have a story for you. Danny's like, it's about downtime. I've been waiting to hear about this too. My texting goes off again. So I tell everybody what is going on, and I get 2 more texts. So now we're at 5, okay? And I hadn't even gotten to the part about the concert yet. And then the inner me and my inner monologue are at the same time like, what? Who the is texting me like this much? Come on. I don't know anybody who texts me that much. And then I finally look at the messages. First one, hey boo. Second, long time no see. Third, what are you doing right now? Fourth, you can't be ignoring me already. Fifth, I can't find you on anything. Or is your name real? Naturally, when you meet someone, the first thing people do is stalk your social media. Am I right? My real name does not have any social media. Everything is either connected to my old account or this current one. So it's either going to be, actually, at this time, right now, everything is connected to Raven Vicky. You want to find me on anything? Raven Vicky at everything. That's it. That's all I can say. So then the inner monologue is like, wow, he can't be serious. So then I show the phone to Danny. I'm like, Danny, look at this. I just can't right now. So she takes the phone. So Emerald's going back to saying, like, okay, long story short, we met Logan Paul. He's taking us to a concert tomorrow. Do you both want to go? Jules is confused. He's like, I don't like that guy, but concert tickets? I've never been to a concert before. How are we getting there? Sarah immediately is like, I can't go. My mom won't let me. Which is fine. It's all people she doesn't know. Makes sense. Totally fine. And then, so then it's like, another message comes in. And my inner monologue is, just because I don't want to go doesn't mean they should miss out. Like, shit, another message? So Danny reaches over and she shows me, hello, I can see I'm on red. Danny's like, nah, I got this. So then she texts him purposefully spells his name wrong and is like, hey Loman, I'm busy with my girlfriend. Try again later or never, which is something she totally would do. Not 5 seconds later, he video calls on WhatsApp. First off, why does he have WhatsApp? Secondly, like, why is he video calling right now? And Danny's like, he's calling? And so then I just tell her, don't answer. And he's like, oh, you know, she didn't have my back right there. Oh, I have to. You know that. So she opens it and I'm like, and he's like, hello there. And I'm like, what do you want now? And Danny was like, I was really hoping you were lying. So then Logan says, what do you mean by girlfriend? Like girlfriend or like the homie girlfriend? And I was like, still not really your business. And then he's now like paying attention to Danny. Is that her? And she's like, yes. And we just told you we were busy. So can we help you? And he's like, yeah. Do you have a final count for tomorrow? And then Emerald says 8. Sarah can't go. And I said, no, 7, because I don't want to go. He says, if you don't go, then they can't. And I said, fine. He's got me there. It's fine. And he's like, have everyone ready at your place by noon. I said, doesn't it start at 4? He's like, so I'll see you guys at 12. Here, hangs up. So then Danny's like, so I didn't pack for a Motley Crue concert. And I was like, don't worry, I have my AC/DC jacket, my Rolling Stones jacket, and my Smashing Pumpkins jacket. So my AC/DC jacket is what I'm currently wearing right now. It has AC/DC on the back. Whee! I don't know if you can even see that. It has AC/DC on the back. I sewed it myself, and my Smashing Pumpkins is going to be a white jacket with the Smashing Pumpkins tee in the back, and then a red jacket with the Rolling Stones. And I want to get a red one that matches the lips on the mouth. Anyway, so she's like, AC/DC, of course, because I dreamed about having this jacket for 2 years before I made it. So I decide I'm going to go with the Smashing Pumpkins. So we then head out. It's to go get Sarah and Julian for dinner at Emerald's house. Everyone decides they're going to spend the night at our place. So everyone gets all their stuff. Everyone picks where they're going to stay, and it's not that bad or whatever. So the next day we wake up. Erica and Ryan decide to go visit the little one, their kid, who's with the mom or with grandma. And then they're going to bring back Russell, which is the youngest of the brothers. So they bring back Russell. And then Danny's trying to decide whether she's going to do my makeup or do something to my hair. And I brought wigs with me, so we go with my pink wig and a black beanie. It was more than likely this beanie because this is my favorite black beanie. And yes, she did my makeup, although it was, I don't know what kind of style. It's probably some kind of cat eye or something. So it's 11:30 a.m. and everyone's ready to go. Ryan and Erica are on their way back from checking on their kid, and they have an ETA of 10 minutes. So then Emerald says, now we wait. So the side note is he does still come off as aggressively flirty. And again, I've never met him. I've never watched his content, and I have literally nothing to go by. So when Erica and Ryan come walking through the door, we hear honking. It gets loud and more annoying, and I'm getting agitated because I just can't stand like loud honking and stuff because I don't know. Like, I'm okay with cars, but when you're doing it obnoxiously, like just to get attention, that really pisses me off. So then Penguin looks out the window and he's like, your date is here. And I said, nope, she's right here. So then I grabbed Danny's hand because that's what she can do. She's like, oh. So we go outside and there he is. 3 giant SUVs. They're big, so I assume it's like the BMX 5s or Lincoln Navigators. Sure enough, though, Jake Paul is in one of them. Jake Mother effing Paul is screaming, let's go, let's go, let's go! Because, you know, he's the most annoying. And he's standing in one of the sunroofs, and I just am absolutely appalled. So then I'm like, Jake, why? And Danny is like, stop being annoying. Shut up. We all gather outside, and Logan comes through in this 2020 Dodge Charger SXT with the octane red, which is like my dream car. Literally my dream car. And he pulls into the driveway and he gets out. And he says, hello, darling. I thought you would have ran away by now. And I was like, why are there 4 cars? He's like, oh, I brought my own people. And I'm like, okay. Danny says, all right, let's go. Your shenanigans are messing the whole neighborhood vibe. So we go to get into one of the SUVs. He's like, no, you're coming with me into my dream car. Because obviously, it's my dream car. I have to be inside of it. So I then pull Danny. I'm like, I'm not coming without Danny. So Danny says, okay, shotgun. So I'm like, yes. My inner monologue is like, yes, my girl coming in clutch. She got me. She gonna sit in the front. She gonna save my life. And then Logan's like, okay, cool. Jake, come drive. And I'm like, shit. Jake's like, hey. And then now I'm like, my inner monologue is like, I'm quite literally doing this to myself. And the inner me is like, yeah. We get in the car, he slides next to me, and now I'm just like, okay, I need to just set the record straight. Completely tell him that I'm just not interested. So I look at him like, bro, can you stop already? I'm not interested. The only reason I'm here right now is because you said no one else could go. I'm not going to take away from my friends like that, okay? And please stop being aggressive. I don't know you. And he's like, wow. Then Jake's up in the front, rejected. And then Danny's like, drive, man. And then Logan's like, all right, I'll stop. I thought you were just feigning ignorance. Like, how do you not know me? And I said, besides the controversies in the fight, I don't know much because I just quite frankly didn't care. I'm not your target audience. That's what I was looking for earlier. But what reason do I have to fawn over you? Also, from what I have seen, I'm not your type and I kind of don't really want to be. And Jake's like, that's what's up. And Danny says, shut the up. God, he is worse than Emerald, which is saying something because we do a lot. We mess with Emerald a lot. And he's like, so what's with the wig? And I was like, I figured I should be in disguise since you always seem to have paps around, like paparazzi. And he's like, oh, so you don't want to be seen with me? Danny, yes. And I said, no, I don't want to be seen, period. And Danny's like, true, master of disguise, this one. So I wasn't going to tell him about my social media personality because not going to happen. That and I don't want the hate, the positive, or, you know, like any of that. It's just like, I'm good. Plus, it's a dream. There's no reason for him to know about all it is. So Logan's like, okay, well, you look nice. And I was like, thank you. Danny did everything. I just brought the jackets. He's like, oh, where did you get them? I said, I made them myself. Well, you know, sewed it myself. He was like, is that Smashing Pumpkins? And I said, yeah, and she's got the AC/DC. So then Danny's like, okay, so where are we going? He's like, oh, I rented a spot. Or Jake, sorry. Jake says, I rented a spot for dinner, so we're going there first. And Danny's like, for all of us? Because it wasn't just, you know, the four of us in this car. It was us plus everybody in the other three SUVs. And he's like, Logan says, yeah, sure, whatever. So we park at the stadium. We all start walking, and they lead us to like this private club or something like that. I don't know. I've never been to a club before in my life. Yes, I understand. I'm 30 and I've never been clubbing. People do that, all right? And I was like, there was probably about like 20 something other people in there that I didn't recognize. I don't know. I thought for a second I thought Tana, but I thought I saw Tana, but more than likely not because why would I anyway? So he leads me to a booth and Danny is following close behind. So finally he starts walking slower than me and he gets behind and he's looking at the jacket because there's no way he would be looking at my ass because my jacket covers my butt. And he's like, it is a cool jacket. And I said, thanks. So now Danny and I sit at the booth on the same side. So Logan then asks us what our drink is. And I said, I'll wait for the server. No worries. And then he's like, okay then, and be right back. So he walks away, taking his appearance. So at this point, I'm finally like actually paying attention to what he's wearing. So he's still wearing the bowling jacket, the red, white, and black one, and he has a black v-neck and some faded chinos and like some kind of Nikes or something. I just saw a check mark. I don't know. I'm not a shoe person unless it comes to like fancy shoes. I really like men's formal shoes. Anyway, he comes back with 4 margaritas. So then he says, here you go, ladies. And I was like, can you taste this for me? And he says, why? I said, well, if you don't taste it, I will then know that you spiked it. And Danny says, mine too, please. So I say, actually, taste all 4 of them. So then he says, I would never do that. I can get almost any woman I want. Danny's then like, you're stalling. And he's like, fine. So he takes a sip out of all of them. And then Danny then turns to look for Penguin and Emerald and says, hey, boys, come take these. And they're like, all right. So they took them and they started to drink them. And then Logan's like, what? Why? And Danny says, we were just testing you to see if you can be trusted. And so then I said, we just want something harder. And I wink. A server then walked by and I said, excuse me, can I get a double whiskey neat for myself? And can I get a pina colada with strawberry puree and sugar on the rim for her? Please and thank you. And then it started getting hot and I took off my jacket. And then, of course, he stole it, and I woke up. Anyway, that's the end of part 2. So yeah, that happened, and I'll see you guys next time for part 3, which, if you thought this was a mess, it gets so much worse. Thank you and good night.